we hope that you guys were encouraged by yesterday's episode, whatever episode that was that we posted. I honestly don't don't remember.
Not sure.
I'm honestly excited though, like looking at all the episodes we have up. I've been so encouraged by, and we've said this, by you guys' comments and your interaction and engagement with them, and all the things we've talked about. We've really enjoyed talking about them and just chatting it up with you guys.
Okay. We talked about, as you probably, if you're watching on YouTube, which if you're not, if you're on Spotify, I think you can actually watch on Spotify. The only place the only place you might not be able to watch is on Apple Podcasts. So if you're on Apple Podcasts, you should go to YouTube or Spotify and watch us, because that's the full experience. And if you want to see clips and just
it's
watch
not that interesting. We sit in chairs.
All right, wow. We're supposed to make it exciting.
It is very exciting.
Guys, it's super interesting. You should
Sometimes, too, there's a little table between us, and I change the flowers on the table.
Oh, yeah.
But Marcus moved the table.
It's all right. Okay. So, what was I going to say, babe?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what subject you chose.
Yeah. So we just talked about, if you're watching, there we go. If you're watching, you may notice we are wearing the same clothes as the comparison episode. And yeah, it's the same day. We're batching some of these because we have a kid who only naps ever so often, and I have a job.
Really, he's down to one nap. So
we have minimal time. Okay, but while we were talking about that, I was just thinking about maybe we give a little bit of a life update, a little bit of a shorter episode today, kind of more conversational with you guys, bringing you though into our family and kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a question for you, but then also just like a little bit of a life update conversation. Okay. You have to be induced again.
Yes.
For the second time.
Yes, I do.
So, how do you feel about like induction versus natural birth and your experience, but also just like your thought process going into it? Because this isn't what we expected or wanted, but it's also not what we expected or wanted with Weston. And
true, this is true.
It's just how it's going.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I am really thankful, and I said this. We kind of gave an update a little while ago. I feel a lot of peace. Like ultimately, that's like good. At my core, I think I feel just a lot of peace because I know that God is sovereign, over things that we didn't anticipate. But there's practical things I'm more nervous about. I think this time probably my bigger concern, like for my body, is like being induced with Weston was not what I hoped for, but I also was like past my due date. So there was a way, there was a way in which like my body was like kind of just needed like a nudge with him. And right now, essentially, like I'm going to be induced like well before my due date, about a month before.
Yeah. Still full term, so like he still is ready to come.
Well, exactly. And he's going to be totally fine. But I honestly think that
he's kind of big.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of big. He's put on weight very quickly over the last few weeks.
If he were to gain the way that he has been gaining the last week, because we've been monitoring him a lot. We've gone to the doctor every day this past week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, you have. I haven't gone every day. But if he were to gain weight the same way he has been, he would be over 9 pounds by the due date.
By my due date, yeah. Which in some ways, it is funny. Like there's little things that I'm like, this is just like little mercies, like from the Lord,
Mercy, you don't have to push out a 9-pound baby.
Yes, that is actually that's a large mercy. But anyways, I think I'm a little more nervous about induction this time because I feel like my body will have further to go because it's not gonna be like as ready, just because it's not.
You haven't hit that day.
But that's me assuming, like we could get there and they could be like, wow, your body's actually like further along than you thought. And I was dilated to a centimeter like about a week ago. So you just never know. And I'm having Braxton Hicks a lot. So there could be ways that my body is more ready, but I'm definitely feeling a little bit nervous about that and just not wanting, honestly, Pitocin is like a big thing for me that I'm just kind of fearful about, that I'm really trying to give that to the Lord. Right? Yeah. And it can make the pain of labor a lot worse and can also like affect the way like my epidural will work if I get an epidural. So, and my plan is definitely to get an epidural. I will be completely upfront with you guys. I'm going to want the epidural. So
based on last time. Yeah.
And especially because this time, like, because I'm being induced again, my plan actually was to try to go natural this time, but because I'm being induced so early, like, I've kind of already mentally, like, decided to probably get the epidural because I think it takes a lot of pressure off of myself. And it just feels like the right decision for me right now. I mean,
why don't you just take a second, even a few sentences.
Yeah.
Take a little bit of like the shame away from like not going naturally or not going according to your plan or needing an epidural.
Yeah.
Give me like a few, like, what are your thoughts on
that? You don't get a medal because you didn't get an epidural. Honestly.
Yeah.
And that sounds really harsh. And I don't mean that to sound harsh. I mean that to encourage anyone who has gotten an epidural. Like, your body and your ability to house a baby for 9 months, or a little shy of 9 months in my situation, is perfectly enough. And the Lord has designed you uniquely to be this baby's mom. And whether or not you get an epidural does not change that. And it doesn't change how difficult what you're doing is. It might take a little bit of the edge off, but I can assure you it is still difficult. And again, it is, there are so many moms that I have talked to that have crazy awesome birth stories and who have like gone all natural, and like I have so much respect for them. But I have just as much respect for any mom I've ever talked to that's gotten an epidural, whether that's at the beginning of her birth or labor or at close to the end. Like, it's not about that. And yeah, it's a miracle that you've housed life and the Lord has made your body to do that. So let that take away shame for you if you're considering getting an epidural in your birth, or if you have gotten one and you felt shame about it. Like, I remember, you probably remember, like, I was like apologizing to Marcus and my mom that I was
sorry,
getting.
I couldn't do it. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You're pushing a baby out.
Which sounds so silly, but like that kind of shows you like the way that there can be real shame, especially now when we're like in a more holistic swing.
Which is totally fine.
Which is so great. And in so many ways, I'm 100% with that. Like, Weston C is a very like holistic doctor, and we choose a lot of methods that are more that route. But like, there's also ways that like modern medicine can be a real blessing. And I'm going to take that blessing in the form of an epidural. And honestly, like, I really am. And that's totally fine. And I don't feel any shame about it this time, which I'm really thankful for. Anyways.
That's sweet. I love it.
End of episode. Just kidding.
For real.
But there's some fear around it, but I feel peaceful overall.
I feel a lot of...
How do you feel, babe?
Yeah, thanks for asking.
I was going to ask you.
No, I know. That's why I just segued on my own. I feel a lot more capable this time, if I'm being honest. I don't feel capable like as a parent or like a dad or like an adult even sometimes. Like, there's a lot of days that I'm like, man, how, like, I'm supposed to do all these things.
You can have imposter syndrome in an intense way sometimes. Me too, but.
Okay. I'm saying, yeah, I do. Like,
yes,
that's how I feel.
Right.
But I am so much more like, oh, I got this with the baby this time. Because last time I had never changed a diaper. I didn't hold babies. I was just like, they were like, hey, 19-year-old Marcus, here's a baby for you. Go take him home and like, you got him for the next 20 years. You were so natural
at it, though. I feel like you don't give yourself enough credit.
Praise the Lord. But this time, internally,
you feel more
confident. Okay,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, me too. I think I feel that's another thing. There is some peace, like, even though the birth like process is getting started earlier and differently.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of peace that like I've been through it before.
Yeah.
And there is some security in that.
You
just
can
like
do
knowing,
it.
yeah, and knowing that, our bodies are made to do it.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
A little bit sleepy.
Yeah, I'm a little sleepy.
All
I
right.
honestly can't wait to get, like, I know everyone is always like, just wait, like, till your baby's here. Like, you're going to wish
so
that you were
tired.
pregnant. I'm like, no. Like, even if I sleep a little bit less, like, no, I don't even, like, sleep less. I feel like maybe I do sleep less, but, like, the time that I sleep, I'm so soundly asleep, like, when when I had Wes, and
rather
I was comfortable rather than when you're pregnant and I like just toss and turn the whole night. Like, don't let anyone tell you that you're not gonna sleep as well, because I think, in my opinion, you sleep better.
Oh.
Anyways.
Ooh. That's kind of a hot take, babe.
No.
You think you sleep better after birth?
Yes. Than pregnancy? 100%. Because when you do sleep, you're like comfortable and you feel normal. At least for me. I mean, I'm sure it's not the same for everyone. And also,
but that's coming from a girl who has a toddler and is 9 months pregnant. So I mean, you have.
I mean,
you have a place to say that.
I mean, yeah, I know, but I get tired like in the day too. Right now, like I'm tired at the end of the day from being 9 months pregnant and having a toddler. Yeah. But like I don't sleep well at all. At all. But like I feel like, and this time could be different too, because Milo could be a totally different sleeper. Wes was also
he was a pretty good sleeper.
He was a good sleeper from the beginning. But I still feel like even if like Milo wakes up more, I think I'll still feel more rested.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think
from also the sleep, because it's just
praise the
sleep.
Lord for like a 2-parent household. Like I was able to help after birth.
Oh,
when you're pregnant and you're like super uncomfortable, there's not a lot I can do. But when
that's true.
I can help you get a little bit better sleep and more sleep once the baby comes. If he's crying, I'll go get him.
Well, also depending on like how my feeding journey goes this time, like with pumping and stuff. I don't really know how that's gonna pan out.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, this was just kind of a little bit of an update episode. You guys are obviously aware that we are very close to having a baby. I don't think we're going to talk about like what the due date is or like exactly when we're going in.
My due date is April.
Oh, yeah. The due date is the 15th of April, but that's not when it's happening.
Yeah. We probably won't say day, just so it takes some pressure off of it for us to like share immediately or like be updating, because we just want to be present with our little fam. It's going to be a big change.
This is a little bit of a third trimester recap update. You've seen those type of videos, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like this was maybe less formal than those, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. We love you guys.
Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for caring about us too and just praying for us.
Yeah.
We've really felt encouraged by just the messages we've gotten that you've been praying for our family and for Milo. Absolutely. And that's super meaningful for us, and we feel covered in those prayers. Like I feel the presence of people praying for us, so I'm really thankful for that.
And I'll show you a couple comments right after this of some moms who commented on the last video that were like appreciated what you had to say. So we hope you're encouraged by today, and if you're a mom and you're going to get an epidural or you're going to try and go natural or you have in the past, it's all right. You are a hero either way.
Absolutely.
And you don't become more or less of a hero whether you, like, how the birth
and
goes.
your baby has no idea whether or not you got an epidural.
Nope.
Until they're older and they understand what that is. But even then, I promise you, they will respect you all the same.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then that's just probably on them.
Okay. All right. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you next episode. Bye, guys.